Hi Ho Silver here in my 4th of July getup. This is a top that I take out once a year and I party hardy in it. And I wanted to wish you a very happy 4th of July. Have a great time, be safe. But you know what? Let's cut loose. We all need it. Now, this week we're going to talk about Bask, which is happiness step number 9. And I think it might surprise you to know that basking is a way to improve your self esteem. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, basking is another form of appreciation, and it's really easy to appreciate the external part of life. Music, the written word, nature, the talent of others. We spend a lot of time in active appreciation. It's what makes life worth living. The more you appreciate, the happier you feel. I mean, these people are deep in appreciation. But what about internal appreciation? What might your life be like if you spent some time appreciating yourself? You have good qualities, you have talents, and if you don't acknowledge them, you probably have low self esteem. I have a friend, Rick, who told me the story years ago, and it's always stuck with me. He was very triumphant when he went to his spiritual mentor one day because he said, I finally figured out what's wrong with me. And his mentor said, Oh, really? What's that? And Rick said, I have low self esteem. And his mentor thought about that for a minute. He said, Well, would you like to know how to fix that? And Rick said, Of course. And he said, Go out and do things about which you can feel esteem. Now, that's a fun story with a good point, but it only tells half the story because in reality, Rick did do things about which he should have felt some self esteem. But he didn't because he didn't give himself credit. He didn't allow himself to feel pride in the different things that he'd done. And he was always comparing himself to other people and coming up short. That sound a little familiar to some of you? Curiosity didn't kill the cat. Comparison did. So bask is a verb. It means to lie in or expose oneself to a pleasant warmth or atmosphere. It's to take pleasure or derive enjoyment. And I want you to take pleasure or derive enjoyment from your talents and attributes. How often do we lose sight of our talents and our gifts? How often do we forget our attributes? And how many times do we just brush off compliments when they come our way, when we could take pleasure or derive enjoyment from all of it? If a friend said to you, There's nothing special about me, I'm betting you would come up with a whole list of things that your friend does and has that are great. You'd be lickety split about that. Question is, how long would it take you to come up with a similar, it's hard for me to say, similar list about your own talents and gifts? I want you to take time to bask in your gifts. Write them down. And I emphasize written because we are not as good at listing positive qualities in our heads. It's too easy to drift into the negative. Here's some examples of positive qualities. Are you kind to animals? Put it on the list. Are you a good organizer? That goes on the list. Are you a good listener? The list. Good parent, friend, sibling, or spouse? You see where I'm going. Once you've made your list, then I want you to keep it handy because when you find yourself comparing yourself to others and falling short, I want you to pull out the list because it will reinforce that you really do have a lot for which you should feel some self-esteem. The Dalai Lama probably said it the best. As long as there is a lack of the inner discipline that brings calmness of mind, no matter what external facilities or conditions you have, they will never give you the feeling of joy and happiness that you are seeking. In other words, the external won't make you feel good or give you self-esteem. It's the internal, and that's an inside job. So that's this week's hack. Bask and use it to build your self-esteem. And remember, you deserve to be happy, and this will do it for you. And bye for now. Happy 4th of July.